So after 15 years, you're saying goodbye to the Christchurch City Council. Well, almost, because although you're not standing as councillor, though you are still standing in community board, it's like you still can't get enough of it, Jamie.
There is some truth in that. I cut my teeth with council on the community board. So in 2007, I was elected to the community board there. Absolutely loved it. You understand, how the processes work, and I guess it's when you work out whether or not what your feeling is with it. And obviously, then I was a bit mad because I loved everything to do with it. It was grassroots governance at its best. But got a taste for council, I guess, and was exposed to it that way. And then I actually recall I was working in the private sector. It's funny how life goes around. I was actually working for my uncle Anthony Gough. The company was called Hereford Holdings then. We dealt with council a lot. And one of the councillors at the time said, hey, you're exactly what we need for council. You're on the community board, but you're young, you've got private sector background, you're passionate about the city. Would you consider running for council? So I did. I ran for council, and I guess I kind of saw it as heads I win, tails I don't lose, because I loved the job that I was in. Every day was different. I felt that I was on a good trajectory doing something that I loved. But then I also thought, if I could serve my community, God, it's something I'd do for free. To be able to have a say on the city that you love would be such an honour. So put my name forward and ended up being successfully elected in 2010. So I was initially on the community board for 3 years and then spent the next 15 years as a city councillor. So in answer to your question, after a very long-winded answer, I'm sorry, it's that although I'm moving to the property side of things in terms of my career, property and governance, I love my connection with the community. It's a really special community. I genuinely enjoy the community board. So although I'm stepping back from council, I'd like to think that I'm stepping closer with the community. And I've learned a few tricks over the years to hopefully get some good outcomes. So if I can add value at the community board, then I consider that a real pleasure as well.
So who are you backing then to replace you as councillor, and who are other community board members that you like?
Well, we're a pretty experienced team in the Whenua Harewood ward. So in the Fendleton ward, David Cartwright has been on the community board for 5 terms. He's served as chair and deputy chair, so he's very experienced, well respected in the ward. And David is keen to run for council. I think he was waiting for me to die. So good news is that I haven't died for some people. But David's delighted, for this opportunity. And I think the time's right for him. He's a really good guy. He's run his own business. So he's, commercially smart, understands governance, and really passionate about the community. So in my view, I think the community would be in really safe hands with David. And then Bridget Williams has been on the community board for 4 terms. She's absolutely fantastic. She's a qualified lawyer, but left law to start her social enterprise. So she's really passionate about the environment, but, both of which are really hard workers and good people. So David's running for council, and I'm delighted to back him. And then I'm running for the community board with Bridget as I go off into the sunset, into private enterprise land.
What do you think you'll miss the most about being on council?
It would be the outcomes. If I'm being brutally honest with you, I'm not a deeply political person. You learn to play the political game and have a bit of fun with it at times, but it's a means to an end. But I would say, look, politically, everyone likes to say they're all very central and all this sort of stuff because no one wants to offend anyone. But where I kind of lean is that I would say I'm quite liberal socially, pretty open-minded, don't believe in any state telling people what to do. But then in a fiscal sense, and I guess it won't surprise anyone, from my background in business and governance, I tend to be more economically conservative. So no, I've never been a member of a political party. I know it's a fashionable thing to say that nowadays, but the reason for that is that there are different policies from different parties that I like at different times. So, I'd like to think of myself as, reasonably well balanced. So I was never motivated by the politics. It's very much been working with good, intelligent people across, complex situations to try and get sensible solutions. And I guess, I've always said that I've tried to bring, a business lens to get good outcomes for people. So I care desperately about people, but naturally my comfort zone is addressing things, I guess, in more of a commercial way. What
won't you miss about the politics? Is necessary when it comes to being a councillor?
Yeah, it is. But I think if I was to sum it up, the thing that I detest the most about it is when I see elected members make a decision that they fundamentally know is the wrong decision because they want to take a political stance on it. I've heard people over the years say, yeah, but you'll vote against it and it won't go through. And then they tend to get traction because of that. So it's the cynical politicking that I really don't enjoy about it. The people are actually are really good by and large, though. And I mean it quite genuinely to say that those 15 years that I've been there, there have been far more good days than bad days. So I really do enjoy the people, but getting great outcomes for the city that I love and call home is really deeply satisfying. But the shameless politicking, yeah, I could leave that.
Shameless politicking on both sides of the political aisles?
Surely not, Chris. Just the ones that don't agree with me. No, look, everyone does play that game at times. But, fundamentally, that's why I guess I'm moving into the world of governance and property, which is really all of the things that I like about council, all the good things are what encompass that. That's kind of what governance is, just working with intelligent people, sitting around a table, all agreeing what success looks like, and then putting your ideas and experiences in the melting pot to try and get a good outcome and drive a good process. So, that's the element of it that I really love.
Just briefly, what will you be doing now? What's your next full-time job?
Well, I think the official title is Executive Director. So I've been a director of the Terrace with my uncle Anthony Gough for a number of years now. And, Anthony's just fantastic. I really admire what his contribution has been to Christchurch. So it's always been a pleasure to work closely with him. But we're very close and I admire him a lot. But Anthony's 76 years old. He's probably earned the right to have a holiday. So the idea really is that I can take the pressure off Anthony. I'll be there on a day-to-day basis. But he can do as much or as little as he wants. And then he's got someone in there, on a full-time basis that's got his best interests at heart. And I'm deeply passionate about the city as much as Anthony is. So, if I could help give him confidence that his legacy is safe and that we're adding value to the city longer term, then I think that's pretty cool. And again, a real privilege for me.
Isn't it nice too that the Terrace is the poster boy of Christchurch in some respects? You look at what, you see on all the brochures and what's being promoted as the central city. It's either the Terrace or Riverside, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think that, a number of the tenants that took those naming rights have got pretty good value for money with that because it's gone far and wide. So they get good mileage out of it. But yeah, look, and again, hats off to Anthony. There's, I'm not going to boost him up, too much more here because everyone knows what I think of him though. But, Anthony took such, I guess, a haircut in terms of return for the greater good of the city, where if you look at the site coverage, there's a piazza area in the centre, higher buildings on the eastern side to block the easterly that rips through, but spaces for people in public space, cascading heights down towards the river, just to really maximise, the visual immunity of the space and to create a place that, is welcoming and different. And I remember he got a lot of stick at the time when going through the urban design panel, there was a suggestion that he should make it look more uniform. And, Anthony's never been one to, follow the crowd or anything like that. And he loves daring to be different. And he said, oh, bloody hell, I couldn't think of anything worse at it looking like Westfield Mall. It's different and it's different on purpose. So
yeah, I love it. I think I love that the front.
He told him to stick it with him.
Yeah, I'm glad he did.
I'm so glad he did. He marches the tune of his own drum, and I just think he's awesome. So spending a day-to-day basis with Anthony is just great. And then aside from that is that I'm involved with a number of different organisations in a governance capacity. So I'll have a pretty full suite. But I really enjoy that side of it. So day job will be in the property industry, and then there's a number of governance roles, one of which includes Canterbury Rugby. So having that link with One New Zealand Stadium at Te Kaha is going to be exciting for me because I guess, the stadium has been something that's been a big part of my time on council, wanting to ensure that we've got a 30,000 seat closed roof stadium. So that'll be really exciting when that opens next year in April.
Exciting times ahead. It's a great place to be in Christchurch right now. You're probably getting out at just the right time and continuing the work at the Terrace, that's for sure. James Gough, nice to speak with you. Thanks so much for your service and have a great day.
Thank you, Chris.